Hi golfers, Rob Cheney here from GOLFTEC Singapore. Last week I shared with you a video tip and drill that I believe to be one of the most important ones you can learn as a new golfer or even as a current existing golfer. One which I described as saying or calling the video the one that nobody ever teaches you, and by the response it got in terms of views, clicks, comments and new subscribers, I would suggest it struck the right chord. It got a lot of interaction and a lot of comments regarding how people have never been shown how to do this. I touched in the video last week that this week's video would look at the other side of the swing. So today we're going to take a look at the backswing lesson that nobody's ever shown you, and teach you how to build out a backswing that you can rely on and help you to become a better golfer.
Swing. That was a good swing.
So last week we discussed how the individual motions of extending, tilting and turning of the body happen to help us maintain our inclination to the ground on the follow through. And today I'm going to make sure you understand how to do that on the backswing. Just like last week when we described these individual movements of the swing to produce something that then became a blended motion and one complete action. This week I'm going to do the same but for the backswing. So I'm going to start with the first part of that puzzle to help you build out a perfect backswing. From the setup we begin in this forward bend, and by the top of the swing golfers have extended out of that forward bend. Just like when they finish the swing we're out of that forward bend. At the top of the backswing, golfers are out of that forward bend. They have their chest up to the sky. They don't have it down to the ground like when they started. If you maintained that forward bend as you swung back and through, you'd keep your chest down to the ground, and that's not a good way to do it. So we extend in the backswing like so, then we turn, we rotate, and then we tilt to the left. So those are the three motions of the body. There's the extension, standing straight up and down. There's the rotation, 90 degrees to the shoulders, more or less 45 degrees through the hips. There's also then a little bit of knee flex or change in the rotation of the knees. And whilst I'm still stood up right here, this doesn't look like much of a golf swing. Now if I tilt my left shoulder down, my left knee down towards the ball, now I've got something that resembles the correct body motion for a golf swing. And if we add the club into the equation, we stand up nice and straight, keep our arms out in front of us and on my body just like they were at setup. So the pressure I feel of my arms against my torso here is going to be replicated as I stand up. We're going to start by moving this golf club into this horizontal condition, and I'm going to do that by moving my right arm and my right shoulder. My shoulder's going to externally rotate and move around me. My right wrist is going to bend back and flex back like so. So I've now got my hands opposite my chest where they started. I've got the shaft parallel to the ground with my right wrist bent back, my right elbow slightly flexed, left arm is dead straight, and my shoulder and my elbow tucked in. This external rotation means that I can now just rotate and turn my body to get the club into the condition I want it at the top of the swing. Once again, if I tilt down with my left shoulder and my left knee towards the ground, I've completed my backswing. So one more time, that's extending, that's moving the club into its correct condition with the arm, so taking this right arm, externally rotating it, moving the elbow in front of me, bending the right wrist back, getting the club into this horizontal condition, if you like, parallel to the ground, turn and tilt. And that's all the information you need. As you progress through this drill, you'll begin to do maybe in fewer parts. You start with the extension, get the arms into the correct condition that they are in, and then start blending the tilting and the turning together. And a nice way to think about it is that you tilt in the opposite direction to the turn. So as I turn to the right, I'm going to tilt to the left. As I turn to the right, I'm going to tilt to the left. Blending those two pieces together moves from this down the line camera view, moves my head down towards the ground, moves my shoulders onto this incline. As I turn, and I'm already extended, as I turn around that front camera view, see how my head stays very, very stable. It doesn't take too much practice to get familiar with these pieces. Sometimes people complain and comment that some of my videos are a bit too detailed, and I appreciate that. I actually take that as a compliment. I think the devil is in the detail. Everybody deserves to be told how to do this correctly with the right amount of detail. Far too often, golf instruction is watered down to a really basic level, so basic in fact that the detail is completely lacking, and golfers don't have the direction or the understanding of what they need to do. So I treat everybody the same, at least when I start with them, and I give them the benefit of the doubt that they're intelligent enough to follow my instructions. And if the details that I give are clear enough, precise enough, and they understand how that should feel, they're able to reproduce it and ultimately make changes not only faster, but make those changes stick for the long term and improve their golf. So extending, tilting and turning the correct amount just looks like a centered backswing from the face-on view and a golf swing which maintains its inclination to the ground from a down the line view. And when somebody does this, who does it easily and well, it looks effortless. It looks very simple. Equally, when someone does this who does not know how to move, it looks clumsy and awkward. So this exercise is specifically to help you build this backswing out in the respective pieces until such time as you develop the understanding, awareness and competence to be able to put this all together into one smooth, complete motion. So now you know how to do the backswing. If you watched last week's video, you know how to do the follow through. And from there you're already really building out the major movements of the golf swing. There's plenty of other details potentially that we could discuss, we could go into. There's lots of other factors that can influence how well or otherwise you hit the ball. The wrists, the grip, the arm stuff is very technical and can end up being quite complex and difficult to cover all the different permutations in a video. What I would say to you is, if you're able to build this backswing through the drill I've shared with you, and you remember and have worked on how to do the follow through, you're in a great position to start working your golf swing into a more consistent, reliable place where the stability of the centered turn on the backswing and the stable inclination, and the centered head turn with the weight forward and the stable inclination on the follow through, is going to give you the greatest opportunity to find the bottom of that ball and control your low point than any other swing option that you might desire. And as you practice this, I would do so first of all without a ball. You can do this again at home, just like the drill from last week. You can work on the individual pieces of this. You can swing through, hitting the ground, finding that follow through that we talked about last week. And of course you can move this up and build this up to full swing when you're ready. And when you're filming your swing, which you should be every time you practice, you can be checking for the stability of the head from the face-on view and the stability, if you like, of the inclination from the down the line view and how well you're conforming to that. So extending, tilting and turning as I follow through, extending, tilting and turning, moving my hips forward, finishing in that position that I showed you last week. Really, really nice contact, perfect little push draw. The consistency of the contact is king. I see people every day, every single day, who can do that with a 7-iron. They can hit it 160, 170 meters, some of them, and they can't break 100. Okay, they can't break 100 because they have no control over the contact, no control over the arc and the path of the swing. So the variability in their game is enormous, and with that comes the frustrations and the inconsistencies that come with it. So if you want to be a better golfer, implement this drill, build yourself a better backswing, implement the drill from last week, build yourself a strong destination and a follow through so you know where to get to. If you've got a beginning and an end, you can find a middle. That middle starts to become how impact gets more and more reliable as your swing becomes more predictable. So golfers, there you have it. There's the best drill and the most complete description of how to build a backswing to play better golf. The quality and the consistency of your ball striking will improve. The predictability of your outcome will improve. And ultimately that's about being more consistent, which is the #1 request I take from golfers on a daily basis. I want to be more consistent. The quality of your ball striking, the ability to hit the ball a relatively consistent distance is all part of building a swing that's reliable, repeatable. So take the lessons from today, take the lesson from last week, piece those together, make that your priority, put that into your practice. And once again, you can do this at home. You don't even need to be hitting balls to do this. In fact, in many ways, you can build a better swing and a better motion without the constant distraction of the ball on the ground, which would definitely take your attention away from the movement pattern. Whereas if you're at home right now, or if you can just get to make some dry drill swings indoors, this is a great way for you to start to build out good motion moving back and then training that transition into the follow-through positions I showed you last week. Guys, as always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please hit that like button. Welcome to all the new subscribers that have joined in the last week or so. Welcome to the channel. You're very welcome here, and I hope you enjoy the content previously and what you see going forward. Until next week, guys, do take care, stay safe, and I'll see you for another video very, very soon.